Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? Hopefully you all are out there doing well. So here's a scoop, townhall.com. Never heard of the site before. The title says it all. The Chinese Communist Party sent thousands of bad Wuhan coronavirus tests to Europe. Shocker, right? I know. You're just falling back in your chair, right? No, not the communists. That could never happen, right? So it looks like this is an article here by Katie Pavlich, so credit to her. I've seen her before in the media. She's a conservative commentator, if I believe. As I've said in my other videos, I don't watch much of the mainstream anymore, but I seem to remember her being a conservative commentator. Call me. For weeks, the Chinese Communist Party has been pumping out propaganda in an effort to absolve themselves of responsibility for the Wuhan coronavirus pandemic. Online, communist officials continue to falsely accuse the United States military of starting the virus. In countries completely destroyed by the disease, China is trying to save face by delivering poorly made medical supplies. Last week, communist officials flew to Italy to deliver medical aid and asked to be celebrated for it because, of course they did. That's what the Chinese do. And they've got everybody over a barrel and they know it. I've railed on this topic in some of my other videos, so I'll try to keep it brief. They're the world's supplier of stuff. It's not just us, it's Europe, it's everywhere, so they know. They're in the driver's seat here. They're supposedly doing better. They're supposedly starting to reopen stuff up. And guess who needs stuff? Everyone. Communists to the rescue to save us all. Yay! Thank you, communists. The media happily helped them accomplish this goal. But, as expected, the goods China has been delivering are beyond faulty. In Czech Republic, the Chinese Communist Party offloaded hundreds of thousands of bad Wuhan coronavirus tests. An astounding 80% of them gave inaccurate results. Worse, China charged the Czech government rather than gifting them, as the Communist Party publicly claimed. Oh my God. From the Taiwan News. A Czech news site on Monday, March 23rd, revealed that 80% of the much-touted tranche of Wuhan coronavirus COVID-19 rapid test kits donated from China are faulty, forcing healthcare workers to rely on conventional laboratory tests. On March 18th, as is the case with many of its other quasi-charitable acts, Chinese state-run mouthpieces used the verbs supplied and delivered to give the impression that the communist regime was donating 150,000 portable rapid COVID-19 test kits to the Czech Republic. In fact, the Central European nation's health ministry paid some 14 million crowns, it's a US equivalent of $546,000, for 100,000 test kits, while the country's interior ministry footed the bill for another 50,000, reports expats.cz. Now, unfortunately, it's not like a credit card transaction with Visa where you can call them up and dispute that transaction. That money's not coming back. Meanwhile, back in Washington, lawmakers on Capitol Hill plan to hold China accountable for their dishonesty. Yesterday, Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and Senator Josh Hawley introduced a resolution to investigate the Chinese government. Now it's comments time. You know I always love the comments if I can ever bring you some interesting perspectives from other individuals. I just want to say, obviously, from reading this, this is a right-leaning piece. Katie's a conservative, like I said. Doesn't mean she's right or wrong. It's just the tone I can tell is from the right if I were just reading it based on what I know. And I know that because she used the term Wuhan coronavirus. You know nobody on the left is using that term. They are avoiding it and bending over for the Chinese any way they can. So, right-leaning, like I said, doesn't mean that's right or wrong, but you know how we always do. We got to keep that in perspective. Now, in this situation, if the facts are the facts, then we don't really care what side it came from. But it would tell us what kind of comments we're probably going to get. Like I said, like when I was reading that article from The Hill for a video I posted up a couple days ago, it's definitely a left-leaning site, and all the comments were such. The video was about a company donating masks, and all the comments were political. It's like, come on, get over it. Now's not the time to deal with that madness. Don't worry, babies, you'll have your time. You'll have your time once we get through this, whenever that is. But let's get to the comments here. Okay, sending thousands of faulty Wuhan virus tests pales in comparison to sending the thousands of Wuhan virus carriers back to the world, especially North Italy, after Chinese virus New Year. Next person says, regret I can only give this but one upvote. This comment has some interesting perspective. I liked it. Richard Jeffries says, it's true, but Northern Italy mayors didn't do themselves any favors by flicking their fingers under their chin and screaming, "Vaffanculo!" Did I do that right, Italians? Probably not. That was probably horrible. at anyone who dared warn them, because open borders uber allies, then the mayor of Florence telling everyone to hug a Chinaman. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's exactly the way it was said, but in response to Richard, George says, Shazam, you mean that importing tens of thousands of Chinese workers to spread the coronavirus? Golly, Sergeant Carter, or was it 100,000? Maybe it was 1,000,000. Whatever they did it, and likely did it either deliberately or through sheer incompetence and casual disregard for the lives of the well-being of other people. Someone says here it was millions, not thousands, who left Wuhan infected. Thousands of thousands, somebody else says. Another individual says the socialist Chinese will do anything to help America's liberal left. Next, the Dems will insist that these infected Chinese get to vote while they're here. Further down, it says, I believe that China is at war with the US and Europe. We have just not realized it yet. Someone else says they will own the EU once the Silk Road to Eastern Europe is completed. All right, I think we get it here. Like I said, we kind of expected the comments to go this route based on the fact that the site is very right-leaning. Okay, now, that being said, facts are still facts. This is just another article I found doing a quick search. National Review, again, not sure of the politics of the site, I'm not familiar with it. It says here, China supplied faulty coronavirus test kits to Spain and the Czech Republic, so it's both countries. The first half of the article talked about what we already talked about in the last segment regarding the Czech Republic, but it says here, meanwhile, Spain, which has more than 56,000 infected people, and this was at the time on March 26th, and more than 4,000 coronavirus deaths, the second highest number of fatalities in the world after Italy, found that the rapid coronavirus test kits it purchased from the Chinese company BioEasy only correctly identified 30% of the virus cases, according to Spanish newspaper El País. The director, Spain's Center for Health Alerts and Emergencies, Fernando Simón, said Spain tested 9,000 of the test kits and will return them based on their high error rate. So maybe it is something different from what I was theorizing when I was talking about the Czech Republic, that maybe they can go ahead and recover some of this money. But that's basically all I have for the video. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that this kind of stuff is happening. Again, whoa, fall out of your seat. A shocker that a communist government would try to pull such a thing, that goods that China is producing and sending to other countries is cheap and crap. That said, though, I liked what one of the comments was talking about with Italy. This is a problem that's generated by the countries themselves, and it's the same with the United States. I'm not going to get into the whole globalism, open borders debate, but I think you'll get where I'm starting to go with this, in the sense of trade more so. You know, the people side, we can have that discussion another day, but the trade side, when you let somebody dominate your economy, even if it's kind of like the low-end side of the economy, the way that they've let China dominate, then that's how it is. People, the same thing. When you're inviting all these workers in, it just happened to be that this time this virus came from there, and then to invite these individuals into your country, or to have kind of that open flow of individuals, then these things certainly happen. Now, that said, it could have been another country, right? It could have been a different country where this came from. What if it was from Russia or some African nation, some country in South America where the virus had broken out? It would be feasible that that free-flowing movement of people could have brought the disease from that country as well. Say the outbreak happened in Peru, for instance. I'm just throwing a country out there, or Angola or Russia, like I said, and the outbreak was there with all these people traveling back and forth all over the place. Like, it's that global economy, the free movement of people and goods, that these things are bound to happen. So what's the solution? Who knows? I don't know that there is one, because, like they always tell us, globalization. But the first thing we can do, and I'll talk about this probably in a lot more videos, is break the economic chains of China. Every country has to learn these lessons, and it's definitely been proven factual due to this kind of stuff happening. Getting garbage goods sent, getting bent over a barrel, like I said before, getting charged a lot more than you should be for stuff. When you allow somebody to control you economically, then that's what happens, and you invite, and we've all invited that upon ourselves. You know how it is, guys. You know how it is every time we go to the store. The choice we make, obviously we don't have a choice now, but our elected governments have made that choice for us, to where China really dictates and controls the flow of goods in our supermarkets, in our stores, and throughout our entire economy. So those are my thoughts on the video. Let me know what you guys think about it. What can we do? Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, take care and be safe out there.